Prophet says a backbiter will not enter paradise. Prophet says a backbiter will not enter paradise.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen amma ba'd fa'a'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim salatu wassalamu alayki ya Rasulallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah salatu wassalamu alayki ya Nabiyallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, there are many blessings of reciting through the Paak of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Indeed, the best of creation, the coolness of our eyes, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, has said that the closest to me on the day of judgment will be the one who has recited through the Paak upon me in abundance in this world. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It might seem very simple and easy and very satisfying to harm others. In this society that we live in, we don't have to put much effort in to harm others. But even if we do, we are prepared to do that. But very few of us are prepared to put in time and effort to help others and to make life easy for others and to do good to others. Through the ages, through Islamic history, Muslim brotherhood was all evolving around being nice to people. People came into the fold of Islam because of the beautiful characters that the Muslims portrayed. The characteristics they had were amazing. The caring and loving attitude that they had. And as society has developed, there is one thing that has unfortunately emerged as a cancer in our society and is leading to terrible consequences. Today, we don't care about the feelings of others. We don't care about not hurting them. We curse, we hurt, we slander, and we backbite. And we don't do this against some people and others are safe. But unfortunately, today, this is a common practice and nobody is safe. And what we don't realize is the heavy price that this brings, not only on a personal level, by displeasing Allah and His beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but also on a greater level in tearing Islamic society apart. Allahu Akbar. It is absolutely crucial, important and incumbent upon every Muslim that he does not hurt others unnecessarily. In the way that we accept that stealing other people's belongings or damaging other people's property is wrong, backbiting and slandering other people is also a grave sin. Ridiculing, mocking other people is a grave sin. And it was not the trait or the characteristic of a Muslim, a believer, to hurt other people's feelings. It wasn't the way of Muslims to fight amongst themselves. It wasn't the way of Muslims to slander people. In fact, if you turn the pages of history, Muslims were seen as the protectors of the honor and dignity of those around them. Muslims were the ones who were given the duty and responsibility to help those who needed it. And Muslims were the ones who stood up for those who were frail and weak in our society. And Muslims commanded respect because of their amazing characteristics. And they didn't hurt anybody with their hands or their tongues or anything else. Why? Because they knew that the best of creation, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had said, as noted in Sahih Bukhari, that a complete Muslim is the one who avoids harming other Muslims with his hand and tongue. Similarly, a complete muhajir is one who gives up all that is forbidden by Allah Azza wa Jal. Beautiful hadith mubarakah. Now the renowned commentator of the Quran, Hakim al-Ummat, Sheikh Mufti Ahmad Yar Khan alayhi rahmatur rahman, elaborating on this hadith mubarakah, says that a complete Muslim is the one whom all Muslims are safe from. One who is a Muslim by all means, not just by name, not just by definition, but by his actions. His actions are in accordance with Islamic teachings and the commands of Allah and His beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And a person is a mu'min, Mufti Sahib writes, when he neither backbites against another Muslim, nor curses him, nor belittles him, nor passes sarcastic remarks about him. He does not physically hurt him. He does not write anything against a Muslim. And then further than that, commenting on the second part of the Hadith Mubarakah, he says that he is a muhajir because not only does he migrate from the land in the will of Allah Azza wa Jal, but he also migrates from the land of sins to the land of goodness for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. His migration is not just physical, but it's spiritual. And he leaves behind the fallacies of society, the desires of his heart which lead him towards sin. He gives up all of that. And like a person who leaves his land to be obedient to Allah and His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is called a migrant. In exactly the same way, there is the migrant who leaves the world of sins and migrates into the nur of Allah Azza wa Jal. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, are Muslims safe from us? Are Muslims safe from our tongue? Are they safe from our hands? Have we migrated towards Allah Azza wa Jal? This is the thinking point. Because Aka sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said, all belongings of one Muslim are haram for another Muslim. His possessions, his honor, and his blood. It is enough for one's wickedness that he considers his Muslim brother inferior to himself. Now in this amazing hadith mubarakah from Sunan Abi Dawud Sharif, there are many, many Madani pearls. If I just again repeat it slowly so that we can take note of what the best of creation sallallahu alaihi wasallam was teaching us. All belongings of one Muslim are haram for another Muslim. His possession, his honor, and his blood. It is enough for one's wickedness that he considers his Muslim brother inferior to himself. Now, in accordance with this hadith mubarakah, even considering yourself superior to others is wrong. That feeling, Islam doesn't like. It doesn't bring humbleness and sincerity with it. But we go much further than that with this sin of backbiting. Arrogance and pride has no space in the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the one who considers himself to be superior to others, thinks I'm something special, his arrogance, the scholars write, is haram. And one of the side effects of arrogance is that it instigates backbiting. I'm better, I'm greater than him. He's nothing, he's superior, his honor doesn't matter, his dignity doesn't matter. And then the shaitan has started the process. And the next thing, I want to belittle him. I want to do his ghibat, I want to backbite him, I want to slander him. How dare he try and compare to me? I'm high and mighty, he's nothing. And there you go down the slippery slope. The arrogant person tends to ridicule others. He tends to consider others inferior and himself superior. In Surah Hujurat, part 26, verse 11, translation from Kanzul Iman. O people who believe, men must not ridicule other men, for it could be that the ridiculed are better than the mockers. Nor must the women ridicule other women, for the ridiculed women may be better than those who mock them. Allahu Akbar. And do not insult one another, nor assign evil nicknames. How base is it to be called a sinner after being a Muslim? And whoever does not repent, then it is they who are unjust. Allahu Akbar. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, the Quran teaches us not to mock and ridicule others. The Quran teaches us to protect our tongue. The Quran teaches us humbleness and sincerity. Sayyidina Imam Ahmad bin Hajar Makki Shafi'i rahmatullah alayhi, while elaborating on this ayah mubarakah, refers to the one who is mocked and is looked down upon with despise. This order of Allah Azza wa Jalla signifies that we should not look down upon other people, because when you mock somebody, you are disrespecting, you're putting them down. And the great Shaykh writes that Allah Azza wa Jalla is not pleased by this. It is contrary to the ayats of the Quran. Today we refer to others by nicknames, by ridiculing them. And the Quran expressly prohibits this. The next time you mock somebody and you think, oh, we're just having a laugh, think that Allah Azza wa Jalla has told you not to do it. Next time you think of funny nicknames for somebody, think the Quran has expressly prohibited that. Allahu Akbar. Mufti Sahib writes that it is possible that the one that you are actually ridiculing and mocking is actually better than you. And then, who are we to judge such people when the best of creation sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, there are several people who are in a miserable state. Their hair scattered, their clothes worn out. Nobody cares about them. But if they were to swear by Allah's name on any issue, Allah Azza wa Jal will fulfill their words. Subhanallah. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, who are we to judge other people? Who are we to conclude that we are superior to others? The Islamic teachings tell us that we should be humble in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. Shaitan, Satan the cursed, was the one who had these diseases and dire qualities. He was the one who considered himself to be superior to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. He was the one who disrespected the Nabi of Allah Azza wa Jal and received eternal condemnation and eternal loss. On the other hand, the Prophet of Allah, Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, received everlasting reverence. And the great difference between them was that Shaitan was arrogant, but Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was humble in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, today this arrogance is one of the reasons that we fall into this trap of backbiting. When we consider others to be inferior, we do not care about their feelings, we then get into difficulty with backbiting. We think that their honor and respect and dignity doesn't matter. We try to put them down, and we try to pretend that by putting him down, it'll increase my worth and my respect in the eyes of others. But that is a deception of the shaitan. By backbiting other people, nobody of sound mind will respect you. Nobody of sound mind and good judgment will consider you good are better than anybody else. In fact, those who are intelligent will straight away recognize the flaws in your character. Those with true understanding and knowledge will straight away know that you are the wrong one. You are the one who has character flaws. You are the one who is insecure. Why? Because you are backbiting about a fellow Muslim. Allahu Akbar. And my dear Islamic brothers, very, very simply put, who are we to create disharmony and discord amongst Muslims? Who are we to hurt others' feelings and to curse them and to backbite against them? On page 21 of the booklet, Zulm Ka Anjam, published by Maktabatul Madina, the publishing department of Dawat Islami, it is written that Sheikh Sayyidina Zaid Rahmatullah alayhi has narrated that like the seas have shores, the fire of hell also has shores. And on these shores, there are huge snakes that resemble Arabian camels. And there are huge scorpions that are the size of mules. When the dwellers of the hell will plead to lessen their punishment, it will be ordered for them to be pulled out of the fire onto the shores of the fire. And as soon as they are pulled ashore, these snakes will grab them by their lips and their faces and will peel away their skins. They will then return towards the fire to safeguard themselves from this punishment. And then they will be inflicted with an itch. And this itch will be such that they will pluck away their own muscle and flesh, and only the bones will remain. And it will be called out, so and so, are you hurting now? They will say yes. Then it will be said to them, this is the punishment for the harm you caused to the Muslims, to the believers. Allahu Akbar. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, these punishments, just for that moment to satisfy this desire of the nafs to belittle somebody, to dishonor him because of jealousy or other matters. Allahu Akbar. And yet, what did Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam teach us? That whoever sits in his home and does not backbite against other Muslims, Allah Azza wa Jal is his guarantor for Jannah, for paradise. Allahu Akbar. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, we dream of Jannah. We talk about Jannah. We want to get there. It is such an amazing gift, an honor, a privilege. Magnificent gardens beyond our comprehension. No worries, no troubles. Everything you want. And yet, we want it without having to work. We want it without having to work and protect our tongue from backbiting. In the Hadith Mubarakah that mentioned Jannah, when we listen to these beautiful sayings of Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it instills in our heart a desire to acquire this great, great status, this great gift of Allah Azza wa Jal, this great honor, the great ni'mats of Jannah. And yet, we're not prepared to work for them. In Bahar Shariat, it gives us a glimpse of what these magnificent and marvelous gardens of paradise really are. And it is written that if any object from Jannah, from paradise, even the size of a fingernail, was revealed in this world, then it would adorn the entire earth and everything within it with beauty. If even a bangle, a bracelet was displayed, a Jannati bracelet, a bracelet from paradise was displayed, it would outshine the sun. If a small space enough to lay down a whip in paradise was sent into the world, this entire world and everything couldn't compare to it. The walls of Jannah, the walls of paradise, are made of gold bricks and of silver. What we use here is cement, but the cement of Jannah is musk, and that is used as a bonding agent. The dwellers of Jannah, paradise, will be presented with the tastiest of meals. They will have whatever they wish, and it will just appear in front of them. When they see a bird flying, if they wish to eat it, they'll have the desire and the thought, and suddenly it will be before them in a cooked form. If they wish to have water, a container will come into their hand, and it will have exactly the amount of water that they want to drink, exactly the amount of milk they want to drink, or exactly the amount of honey or wine of Jannat that they desire to drink. Not a drop more and not a drop less. And after they have finished drinking, this container will disappear. And in the world, wine tastes foul, bitter, and it has an intoxicating effect. But the wine of Jannah is amazing. It doesn't make you lose your ability to reason. No, it doesn't have any negative values. It just has beauty in it. There are no impurities in this amazing paradise. So you won't have to digest and go to the toilet, and no earwax and no male and no diseases and no dirt, no washing. Everything is pristine and perfect. And one will have the pleasure of smelling beautiful. Even your burps will be like musk. All food will automatically get digested. Everything will smell beautiful. Your breaths, your tongue will be constantly moist in the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, both voluntarily and involuntarily. Everyone will have at least 10,000 servants at his service in Jannah. Each one of them will have a silver bowl in one hand and a gold bowl in the other. Allahu Akbar. These bowls will be filled with different dishes. As they eat, instead of the taste diminishing, so instead of it, once you taste something in the world, you can sense that taste and you know that it's being repeated. But in Jannah, every time you take a bite, the taste will enhance and it will become even more tastier. Every morsel will have 70 flavors, each distinct from the other. And all these flavors will be tasted without any comparison to any other. Subhanallah. This Jannah in which you will be blessed with beautiful dress that doesn't need washing and doesn't wear away. This Jannah, the dress in which, if it was to be shown in this world, people would not be able to bear the magnificence of it. If any hoor from Jannah were to spit in the oceans of this world, in the 7 oceans of the world, the entire oceans would turn sweeter than honey. In Jannah, you will be blessed with hair on your head, the eyebrows and eyelashes. But apart from that, there will be no other bodily hair. In Jannah, there will be marketplaces. These marketplaces will be surrounded by angels. You will go into the marketplaces, but you won't buy like the world. You will just look at something, desire it, and it will be sent along with you. Their thrones will move towards each other, and they will be the most respected and most honored of people. And morning and evening, the Jannatis will be blessed, the special ones will be blessed with the privilege of beholding the vision of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allahu Akbar. And then they will be asked by the Creator Supreme, do you want anything else that I shall provide you? And they will say, you have illuminated our faces and you have let us enter paradise and saved us from hell. Then the veil which is drawn upon the people will be lifted and they will see Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is the greatest of rewards. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, how beautiful is this Jannat that Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave us glad tidings of. How beautiful is this gift that we can achieve by avoiding backbiting and sinful conversations, by making ourselves worthy of this paradise of Allah Azza wa Jal. We heard how those who constantly indulge in these things will be in the fire of hell. We've learnt of the dangers of the fire of hell, where even the shores are infected with snakes and scorpions which are going to punish you. And yet, on the other hand, we have this beautiful, beautiful narration after narration in relation to the gifts and the bounties of Jannah, that the best of creation, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most truthful, has told us about. There is no doubting in it. But we have to achieve it. We have to earn it. If our actions are those of the people of fire of hell, and then we desire to have the bounties of Jannah, we are deceiving ourselves. If we continue to backbite and slander and dishonor people and engage in sinful conversations, then unfortunately the fire of hell may be our destination. But if we reform ourselves and we bring ourselves in line with the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we move our tongues in the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we invoke Astaghfirullah al-Azim, we'll be rewarded with hurs in Jannah. Let me share with you a beautiful, beautiful narration. After worshipping for 40 years, a great friend of Allah Azza wa Jal made a supplication in the court of Allah saying, Ya Allah, show me a glimpse of the blessings you will bestow upon me in Jannah. While he was busy continuing with his supplications, suddenly the mihrab of the masjid opened up and a beautiful hur emerged from behind it. She said, you will get 100 hurs like me. And each one of us has 100 helpers. And each one of the helpers has 100 slave girls. And each one of the slave girls has 100 assistants. Upon hearing this, the sage rejoiced and inquired, will anybody get more than me in Jannah? Oh, this is amazing. And she replied, every common inhabitant of paradise who would have invoked Allah Azza wa Jal and this zikr Astaghfirullah al-Azim in the morning and the evening will receive these rewards. Allahu Akbar. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, Aka sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has given us the glad tidings. The best of creation sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has said that whoever performs salah properly, his household is large, he has a lot of inhabitants, his provision is limited, but he does not backbite, he and I will be like this in Jannah. And Aka sallallahu alayhi wa sallam displayed the index and the middle fingers together. Subhanallah. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, backbiting takes you away from the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal in this world. It destroys your life, your peace, your tranquility. It destroys your resolve and your determination and your enthusiasm to please Allah and His beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It distances you from Aka sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who loves us so much that the best of creation sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried in our love. It distances you from your Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It distances you from your Creator Supreme. It puts a barrier between you and your worship. Backbiting severs ties with your brothers and sisters. It leads to fights within family. It destroys your family life. It destroys your friends circle. It destroys those at work. It destroys everything and all the peace and tranquility, the chain and sukoon of your life. But not only that, it goes much further than that. It destroys your grave. It is going to lead to humiliation on the day of judgment. And it is going to lead to the fire of hell if you die other than in the state of Iman, which is what people have warned, the scholars have warned in relation to backbiting. And all for that little bit of pleasure of the nafs, to belittle somebody, to dishonor them, to disrespect them, to try and make them inferior, and to try and make us superior, and to try and pretend that we are better than others, and to try and ridicule and mock them. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, if we want these great bounties of Jannah, if we want a peaceful life, if we want a serene grave, if we want the doors of Jannah to open up in our grave, if we want to rise on the Day of Judgment in the company of the best of the creations of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the best creation of Allah Azza wa Jal, Aka Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we want to enter Jannah and enjoy the bounties, then we should control our tongues and stop backbiting. Ameen bijahin Nabil Ameen sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Prophet says a backbiter will not enter paradise. Prophet says a backbiter will not enter paradise.